else though?
Good fucking question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I imagine we're going to get a few people who are going to be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm great.
No,
Are you
because
okay?
I
You're
posted
wearing
that
Julie's dress. I should tell Julie you're wearing her dress.
I yeah, you should tell her that.
I should like get on Signal really fast since she can't
Yeah.
message me on my phone when I'm doing this. Do do do. Gotta scroll down a
Does she
little.
look at Signal? I'll just tell her.
Okay. Why did my Dropbox just pop up at me?
Okay.
Oh, it's updating.
Oh, your weirdo friend is here. Your
Oh,
weirdo friend. If I DM you the
oh
link to
yeah.
the
You're
link to the stream, will you hang out with us tonight?
yes. Well,
Uh,
they're ready when they're ready. I don't know if they're ready tonight, but I talked to them.
okay, because I'm gonna DM. Well, no, not that one. I need to DM the right fucking link. Okay, here we go. There's the restream link. All right, we'll just see what happens. Oh, okay. Your weirdo friend is now ready. Your weirdo friend, take your DMs in Substack and then turn off the live stream on Substack because they clash. You don't want
Yeah.
them both going at the same time.
Or at least
Like in concert, where at least they're not like. But
yeah.
anyway.
If you mute the laptop, if you've got a laptop and phone
Yeah.
like I do, then it's fine.
So, you know what really grinds my gears, Lisa?
What really grinds your gears today?
When pedophile protection programs become official GOP policy, while democracy dies by gerrymanders. Oh my God! Okay,
Hi.
Hey.
that is exactly how I imagined you would look.
Oh my God. I hope that's a compliment. No, I'm joking.
Oh no, believe me, honey, I didn't do any makeup today. I barely shaved today.
I didn't shave at all, y'all bitches.
Neither did I.
I pulled out my chin hairs and I found one on my neck. Does that count as shaving?
I have several.
I don't have to shave.
I want just one on my goddamn neck. What the fuck? Okay.
I'm going
So
to start.
can we all just say it?
What?
Quiet, Piggy. Quiet.
Yeah.
Why is he allowed to
that
fat
ticked me
shame
off
people?
just a little.
Why is he allowed to fat shame people?
Because he's an arrogant ass man who believes that he's better than 99% of the world.
Okay, weirdo friend, you have to come back. By the way, this is your first time. You literally get to spend 3 minutes talking about whatever the fuck it is you want to talk about, and then you can literally ask me any question. I don't care what it is, and I'll answer it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, so my dog has questions.
Apparently.
I think he's such a cuter. He's such a cute. So, but his questions are about my fried rice. So I think that they're not. What question could I ask? I wasn't prepared.
I'm trans. There's a reason why I like these. Although this pickle is very limp.
Listen, pickle awesome. And
yes. This is not a stiff pickle, and I don't like that it's not stiff.
Ow! Shit! Sorry.
Braggers!
Would you hurt yourself?
What the fuck did you do?
I burned my finger.
Why'd you do that?
Well, I didn't do it on purpose. Real quick, Wendy, thank you for keeping Bubba alive, and that's it. Come on.
So I should explain that. Weirdo, do you read the queer bar stories?
I do not. I am very sorry if I've lost your steam.
No, you've offended me. I'm officially angry.
So sorry.
So, in the bar is a character named Bubba, and Bubba is a person from my past. The reason that people, oh, there's Linda. We're going to let Linda in, and maybe Brandon if he decides to come. I know you're working,
Get
Linda.
Craig
So
in again. So Craig's lecturing you already.
right. So with Bubba, he was a person that I went to college with, and then in his late 20s, early 30s, he had a heart attack and it killed him.
Oh dear.
And so I've never dealt with Bubba's death particularly well. In the same way, I haven't dealt with the death of other people in my life particularly well, or the loss of individuals in my life very well. And so, very interestingly, today I was having a conversation with another reader, who, by the way, is my original first paid subscriber. And she too is a writer. And by the way, I'm going to drop her publication name because I really want her stuff to go around. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Here. If you enjoy fiction of any kind, especially speculative fiction, read that. So writing about Bubba in the queer space stories is my attempt to deal with the fact that he died, and I never dealt with it. The weird thing about him is that he and my friend Remy had a very unusual relationship, and Bubba never dated, like ever. And so even early in my life, I thought that Bubba was probably gay. But anyway, Brandon, you can come in here anytime you want. Although I think we're going to pretty much keep it at 6 total because we don't want to overload. But anyway, so all right, so now, so weirdo friend, now ask whatever question you want.
Blondie.
I would like to know and my dog would like to know, when you first started your Substack, what drove you to start your Substack, and then also what also drove you to move to Beehive?
Okay.
Talking about that is like, because I'm thinking about this moment in which trans voices in particular are being intentionally siloed and silenced, and also I want to know, like, wow, I'm gonna just mute. My dog has more life, so I'm gonna just mute my mic. We'll go with that.
Okay, so to answer your question, Walter Ryan and I have talked about this. Why did I move to Beehive? And why did I move? And why am I inspired to write? So there's 3 layers of answer to that question. So the first answer to that question is trauma. I write to attempt to heal my trauma. The problem is, if you have read my biography, which I have repeatedly told people never to fucking read, and it does not matter how many times I tell people to read it, Craig, if you link it in the chat, here, you know what? I'm gonna beat Craig's ass to it, and post it in the chat. I'm gonna drop this in the chat. Don't read this. Do not read this. But my life has been a perpetual cycle of trauma. And so a major portion of the reason that I write is to deal with that trauma and heal from it. The other reason that I write, and which is one of the reasons why I write geopolitical articles, is because I'm fucking pissed off. And I'm pissed off often. and hugely. Every time I read about the orange shit stain, it pisses me off perpetually. And then the third thing is that my desire to inform. Brandon, I would like for you to make a comment about how our trauma lives go and how positively or negatively you think that they affect people.
Oh dear. I think our travel lives go quite well. We've been discussing relevant topics that I think a lot of people can relate to. It's not just, it's not just relegated to the queer community, though, we kind of do talk about them from our perspectives, but I think they've gone very well. And from what I don't know, like the comments I get from them are always positive. I don't see the ones like on YouTube and things like that, but what was the other question? Did I miss one?
No. Do you think they have a positive or negative effect?
Oh, okay. Yes. Positive. Yes. I think they're helpful. Hopefully they are.
Yeah, I think they are too. So, and then, Weirdo, then the other thing to answer you. So, trauma, I'm perpetually angry, and I think that informing people is important. And so I do that. Christian deconstruction. I have a tremendous amount of knowledge around the understanding of the Christian religion, including linguistic fluency in a number of biblical languages, Hebrew being one of them. And then having miles and miles and miles of supporting text, which is why I write those articles. But then really, yeah, the queer space articles, that's fucking therapy for me. If people never read those stories, I would still write them because I think it's therapeutic for me too.
It is therapeutic, and I read them religiously. Yeah, it's definitely therapeutic.
Yeah, because I'm trying to compartmentalize certain relationships in my life that I have, either lost or not dealt with or whatever, or I'm trying to handle. I mean, Gizmo has appeared, my middle child, my biological child, actually. Gizmo has appeared in the sanctuary a handful of times. And there's trauma in that relationship, and I try to heal from it. So, does that answer your question? Oh, and then the Beehive thing. Yeah. So Substack has become viscerally toxic. There is no way to report people for hate speech. There's no way to report people for negativity speech. And Curtis Yarvin is on Substack. And so are a shit ton of neo-Nazis and Nazi assholes. And so, for instance, and Yarvin on his Substack repeatedly drops the N-word.
Whoa, didn't know that.
Yep, repeatedly drops the N-word. And so those voices on Substack are getting louder and louder and louder. And so there is a desire for people who are more progressive thinking than others to migrate to other spaces. So Jeff Anderson, the owner of Sweaty Spice, he went to Ghost. The Bugbear Dispatch, she went to Ghost. I have heard Descent in Bloom is considering leaving Substack. I have heard Jeff T has been talking about leaving Substack because of the toxicity. And as a trans woman, I literally was spending 2 hours a day banning accounts and dropping out comments and banning people. Hi, you old bitch. How are you?
Shit.
Would be me.
Oh, Elaine, I love you.
I'm glad
Right,
I'm
someone
yeah.
always happy to
else
see
does.
Elaine.
Fan. So
I need a new fan.
I decided I was gifted for my birthday a 6-month max subscription to Beehive, which means I could move my publication and then 9 others if they wanted to. And so I have offered seats to people who want to not write on Substack anymore and want to use my formula to integrate their live sessions. So if you run live sessions, but if you just write long form content like Sarah does, then yes, I have a place for people who want to do that, and you have to talk to me about that, and we can do that. I've already done it for Lisa and Sarah and Aubrey, who is behind my monitor, myself, and Miranda. So I have effectively 5 seats left. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. It absolutely does. I mean, I remember the day that Trump's first executive orders came out. When I first started, I forget what it was that I was writing, but it was something about, trans people being used as a scapegoat. And I was really real about like my family situation. My husband and I are both trans, and I got this wave of like, you belong in a concentration camp, just like the stuff that it made my blood run cold. It was like day one, like this is the energy. And I'm noticing that when I cross post my stuff to YouTube, the amount of stuff that I get that is hate speech it is time consuming. It is time consuming. And I'm already here on Substack as your weirdo friend, in part because I'm already dealing with like transphobic related like surveillance of my speech to begin with. So it's yeah, it's messed up. So I was really curious because, I don't get to often ask like other trans writers, like, what is your experience and why are you making this move? And I have also gotten a very similar vibe when it comes to Substack, which is sad because it is very obviously socially and algorithmically manufactured. If we want to talk about freaking social engineering, this is a moment, right, where it is very clear that a very small group of fascistic individuals are trying to force their transphobic worldview onto other people who are like, really don't want that, right? So that's the other piece too, is that like all those comments that I got, they kind of felt to me like either paid trolls or bots. Like they were always accounts that had no freaking names. Like it just is that also y'all's experience? Like what is that? How does it show up for you?
Brandon, you can answer that question.
Can I?
Yes, because you're gay as fuck, by the way.
I mean, well, thank you. But
hey, I'm gayer than he is.
Yeah.
I'm gayer than all y'all.
I've been gay longer than he has been.
Well, that's I believe that one. But
thanks.
I'm the lesbian virgin, so
I have not had as the negative experience that you have, and it may be partly because you being trans. I don't know. And also you write a lot of political things, and that is naturally very contentious for some people. And I write mostly humor, satire. I mean, I write about queer issues some too, but I have had very few negative interactions on Substack. I very rarely get any kind of negative comments or anything like that. and I don't see it in my feed either. Well, one good thing I do like about Substack is you can control your feed so well, like the one things that you like, and you can avoid liking other things, and that kind of manipulates your feed to where you only see the things that you want to see. But yeah, I mean, I have definitely seen a lot of bot accounts, what I suspect are bot accounts. I've gotten a few private messages, DMs, that they just start out by saying hello. I'm like, okay, hello. And then very soon after, they want to know where I'm located.
Yep.
And whether or not you're married. Don't forget the
Yep.
married.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
your
First
mama's
of all,
bed.
why are you asking where? I don't know. That's just it's just very weird to me. So I'm like, okay, this is something odd. But yeah, I've had a lot of people follow me or subscribe to me, and then I don't immediately follow somebody back or subscribe back. I go to their profile and I look, and a lot of them have been published. They might have a lot of things that they liked or some activities, but they have no posts, and I might be the only person in their read list or something like that. Or I'm like, all right, that's not. I mean, I would like to believe that I'm the only person that they love on Substack, but I really doubt that that's the case. I'm like, all right, this is not a.
So I got a little peek under the covers because there are a couple of Substack devs that I talk to who are GitHub buddies because I wrote a bunch of reference code for some architecture that I was building, and they wanted to use it, and I said, yeah, I mean, I GPO all that shit, so you can do whatever you want. And so here's the thing. So Notes is becoming more and more social. And so the iterative plan forward is for the Notes portion of Substack to become a popularity game, which means the likelihood that unless you have those specific accounts blocked, the popularity of what you're going to see may be things you would never want to see. And the result of that means that Substack is turning into a social experiment versus about people sharing writing and other people reading that writing, and then that becoming the draw to, because originally Substack was come out here, write all your stuff, and collaborate with other writers about writing all of your stuff. And so that happened. And then it started to not become that. And so now we're at a point where, I mean, theoretically, Substack in a year could turn into Twitter. And it literally could just be a popularity game. And for me, it was never about being popular.
No.
I wrote an article about queer people emigrating away from the U.S. back in January. And Cryptite, the Wonkette girl, sent me a message and said, this is brilliant. You should keep writing this shit. And I did. And that's what happened. I just started daily writing.
I used
and
to subscribe to her.
Huh?
I said I used to subscribe to her.
Yeah. I used
to subscribe to.
Yeah, she hasn't.
I know it hasn't written
very much.
So.
And so it's sad to me that she has not written, but regardless, so that was the deal. And so then I was just writing and then 100 people turned into 500 people, 500 people turned into 2,000 people, 2,000 people turned into 5,000 people. And then it was like, whoa, what the fuck? People want to read the shit that I'm writing. I mean, I have a post that's on Substack that has 6,000 likes attached to it because I called Barron Trump a moron and got away with it. You know, he is a moron. He got kicked out of NYU. You really have to fuck up to get kicked out of NYU. And by the way, I don't know why he ever went to NYU because NYU, according to MAGAs, is a libtard university. But regardless, so
He's
yeah,
not exactly
for me, it was always
brain
about
trust on either side of his family, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean,
if
you're
heredity
totally right.
has anything to say at all, he's probably not very bright.
Right. So then the concept became, which do I care about more? Do I care about the audience? Well, no, I have my audience, you guys. And so I care about the writing more, as much or more than I care about the popularity game. I don't. The people I want to talk to, that's all of you guys. I do this at 7:30, 7:45 at night, and we all talk for an hour, and it feels good. That's what I wanted out of this thing. And by the fact of it, people like the stuff that I write, that helps. But for me, it's about information sharing. I'm a mom. And on top of being a mom, I am professionally a mentor. I love to mentor people and I love to teach people shit. So, but yeah, my fear, based on everything that I've been told, insider information and otherwise, is that Substack is going to turn into a social experiment. And when that happens, yes, really bad shit is going to happen. And then people are going to, literally right now, there's nothing that stops me from posting a completely naked photo of myself. And all that is going to happen on Substack is they're going to tag it as adult content. And that's it. At that point, you're just Twitter. We might as well go back to storing content on WordPress sites or Drupal sites and publishing content. The reason that we came to Substack was to attract.
I could do that myself, but I don't have a wide angle lens on my phone, so.
Right. I need a tall angle lens.
I need a fisheye lens.
I will not be participating.
I subscribed to somebody this morning. Read something this morning from somebody I hadn't seen. Her name is Joe on Substack, and she said she'd gotten a whole bunch of shit and lost one paid subscriber, and they'd sent her this nasty gram when they took theirs away. So I said, "Well,
yeah,
is it the Joe that comes to my stuff?"
Yeah.
Joe has been writing. I've been trying to boost her stuff. I've considered doing a writer's expose of her, but I got to do the one for Brandon first.
I've been thinking about doing an alternate Substack account too, of like an only stack account, but
you'd be all kinds of popular for that. You're just
I don't know, Brandon.
There've been
a bathrobe guy to do one just for his voice.
I don't know, Brandon. I mean, I pay money to see you naked.
There's several guys. I've seen a lot of guys have their.
There's historical precedents calling it alternate too. In Kansas City, the gay weekly, the Bar Rag, from 91 was the alternate news.
The alternate news.
Mm-hmm. I wrote for them from 1987 to 1989.
That's so
I think it is a good idea to have a second. I mean, I don't think you should put all your eggs in one basket anyway.
I don't either. And I would say, Brandon, I will happily give you a seat if you want a second newsletter space.
I know. I've been thinking about it, but it's just so hard. I mean, I'm on Medium still, and I post stuff on there every once in a while, and I'm still hanging on, but I'm about to cut that one off because I'm not getting much from that. But I have been thinking about having a second place to put stuff, but
Well,
it's
I
also
will.
I have a hard time balancing too. Just with Medium and Substack, I've had a hard time remembering, like, oh, I haven't put anything in Medium for a while. I need to do that, and I'm focusing so much on Substack because I'm doing the the live videos and the articles and everything. So it just takes up a lot of time, and then I forget about the other stuff.
I miss LiveJournal. I just wanted to say that just into the universe. I
Oh
miss
wow.
LiveJournal.
There you go. I mean, and this is me not trying. That was my ad revenue from last month.
Ad revenue from what?
So this is Beehive's ad revenue network dashboard.
Okay.
If you advertise in all of your posts, you can make upwards of $500 to $900 a month. Because there are advertisers. I don't put ads in every one of my posts, probably about a third of them. But if I hit an ad in every post that I have, I would be making a much larger sum of money.
Do you get to
So
choose?
do you have? Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Please.
No,
yeah.
that's there's. I think there's
I'll
sometimes
take
kind
it.
of a delay. So whenever I talk, I'm like, oh, wait, I was just going to ask if you have to. Is that something you opt into, or do you choose certain advertisers, or how does that?
So basically, what in the Beehive network, what happens is you build your content, and you take your top 4 referrers. So you pick. By the way, there are some very queer Beehive newsletters that I spread around from a recommendation perspective.
Cool.
And those recommendations work similarly to the way Substack ones do. But usually after your second or third week on Beehive, you'll start to get ad network deals. And they pay per click. Now, I had one advertiser, my one big advertiser this month is offering $3.66 per click. So $3.66 per click.
Wow.
And so that is kind of huge. That's kind of a big deal for me. And so, yeah, if I get however many, so it takes you about a month to ramp up, a month and a half. Do what?
Do you get to choose who it is? Like, I'm not trying to, like, there are just certain companies that, like, I'm paying attention to who's doing all the fascist shit right now. And I'm not trying to, like, this is me. I will die broke before I advertise for a fascist. So I'm always like, where are your projects? Like, where, like, in the sense of, like, where, like, for me, like, I'm developing a list of corporate enemies, by which I mean there's no freaking way I'm spending. I mean, I'm going to either send you money or give you my money. So do you get to choose? Like, can I get to sleuth these people and be like, I don't want you?
You can sleuth them before you agree to accept.
Nice.
To drop adverts for them. And so all of the ones that I have been using, I've sleuthed out as being blue as fuck.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Blue as fuck people. Plus,
No,
Beehive's ownership is approachable. I've talked to the CEO a handful of times, mainly because he's the CEO and he's a coder at the same time. And he's like, look, it's a fucking product. I am not making this a social experiment. He's like, I know why you left Substack. And I know why you came here. And I'm telling you, what we offer is a product. So from that perspective, only respectable elements of people are going to be involved. Now, that's not to say there are Beehive newsletters that there's like a handful of Christian Bible newsletters or whatever. I never get advertisements for those, and I would never advertise for them even if I did. So Tyler told me, he's like, our algorithm on advertisement revenue spending, if your content leans a certain way, that's a pretty good guarantee that you're only going to get. And then even if you did, you could just say no. But then here's the other thing that people should be, I'm going to show you the other thing that people should be aware of. And that's boosting. So email boosts are big money. There are people who are willing to pay $160 to $180 per email referral.
I need that in my life. Shit.
I'm gonna share that screen now so that boosts. So if you boost somebody, so I have an application for game genre news and Go Queer news. And the email max earnings for referring email subs per month is $160. So if I score both of those contracts and I agree to generate leads for those publications, then I'll get that money.
So that's something you apply for or bid for? Or
yeah,
whatever?
you bid for it, and then they take your application, and then they they sort of decide. And if they agree, then you sign a contract with them for 6 months, I think is the term, for that to happen. So you get $1 for every click per advert drop, and then you get if you had a body of 3 or 4 subs or 5 subs, then the 160 comes into play. And they're willing to actually pay big money for that because they want subs as much as you do. And then as much as that, you can set up boosts where you tell people, if you can get me email subscribers, here's $50. I need more subs. You can do this. So this model against Substack's model, which is entirely, again, a social experiment, makes it a lot more effective. It does involve a little bit more legwork, but once you get everything kind of rolling and affected, then it just works. The other thing is this. So Substack, you can write Substack posts all day. You can write 8, 10, 12. There's been one day I wrote 8 Substack articles, published all of them, and hit the email list. Beehive limits you to 2 email list drops a day in a 12-hour period. Oh, and then here's the other thing, and I think this is a really cool thing that people should be aware of, is Beehive will do an email scan on your subs. So if you take all of your Substack subs and you move them over to Beehive, Beehive's algorithm is going to check the email reputation for your subs. And if your subs have a high spam email reputation, Beehive won't import them and won't allow you to import them. So it'll automatically filter out all of your spammy accounts, which I guarantee you, I have currently 1,836 Beehive subs. That was me attempting to migrate all 5,000 of my subscribers from Substack.
Oh, wow.
That should tell you that a large portion of Substack accounts are spammy or guilty spammy.
So is Substack an AI bubble? I mean, I'm not.
I mean, really, honestly, yes.
Because it's sort of like I have a friend that I was hanging out with this summer, and she was talking about the dead internet theory and how like the over half of and I mean, I see it. I'm a community college writing teacher, right? So like I can tell, just like I can tell because I read faces well as a child who had of trauma who had to learn micro expressions to save my own life. So I can tell what AI slap videos look like. You can just tell. Like my husband was showing me one. I'm like, babe, no, like watch how the eyebrows aren't moving here with relation to what this person is saying. The same thing with AI slap. Like I can see it, but I was told somewhere that over half of the stuff that is on Substack is AI, and I can tell, like, if someone is using the AI in their writing, I'm like, no, because I would rather see somebody's like what they think is imperfect writing and see their real sense of the world than to read computerized bullshit. Like, I can do that any day, right? So I really do.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
ask me that question
It's
all the
for-
time. I hear people ask me that question all the time. Do you use AI for any of your writing? No, I use Grammarly because my grammar is a piece of shit. My grammar fucking sucks.
I don't even as a community college teacher, I intentionally hit send before I've even done a spell check or done a thing, and part of that is because I really do, that Leonard Cohen quote about ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's where the light gets in.
Right.
I try to tell my students all the time that, like, people are trying to con you out of your weirdness and your vulnerability and your insight and your passion, and fuck perfection, because that is the thing. And so for me, it's like, I don't even do that. And I do it as a resistance, because I don't, at least as a teacher, I hear all the time this idea that, oh, well, you're an English teacher, I better watch my grammar on you. I'm like, I don't give a shit about your grammar. Like, I absolutely do not, and I don't, because I think that that's a way that we teach people that they don't have anything to say. And even if they did have something to say, that they're not saying it right. And fuck all of that, because that leads to people not being able to come to story, Anyway, that's just my quiet resistance. I had this one time where someone was like, what did they say to me? They were like, you should proofread your stuff. And I was like, you don't pay for my writing. you can just, because I don't charge anybody, sweetheart, you can go read something else. Like, and I enjoy the art of, like, pressing send too, because it's like, if I die of a brain aneurysm or something, you at least got my first draft, with typos or some shit. I like going in there and rewriting stuff. Like, I like going back in and being like, oh, that's a type, and I'm just like, I fix stuff, I add stuff, like, so people will read something and then I come back and it's grown 3 paragraphs or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the beauty.
I have to point something out.
Please do.
I am at heart a humanist, which means I worship the ground that Voltaire walked on, as the eternal humanist and satirist. But, and I hate to say this, I am not a nihilist in any way whatsoever, but hearing you say that, I'm reminded of Nietzsche saying, the individual always has to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you'll be lonely, I think. And sometimes you'll be afraid. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Dorothy Allison, who is maybe not Nietzsche, said two or three things I know for sure, and one is, I would rather go naked than wear the coat the world is made for me.
Oh,
I like that.
That's Kierkegaard. Yeah, that's Kierkegaard. Once you label me, you negate me.
Boom.
Clearly.
Wow.
Gosh. I need to go back to reading Butler, Yeats, Emerson, Butler, Keats, whatever the fuck his name was.
And I'm reading Shel Silverstein right now, but
Oh,
William Butler Yeats.
But isn't there drama with him?
A racist? Yeah.
wait, really?
Shel Silverstein? Yeah.
where the sidewalk ends?
I thought we were William Butler Yeats.
Oh, well, Yeats has some drama on him too. I was in a very boring Irish poetry class once and heard many problematic things about Yeats, but I think that's anyway, I digress. But yeah. So Shel Silverstein, I mean, what I know
Shel Silverstein is racist.
Yeah, didn't he write a bunch of Nazi propaganda?
What?
Yeah. Let me just get this
Are
up.
we talking about
I
Dr.
don't
Seuss?
think so. And Theodore Geisel?
I'm sorry. I'm just going to
Maybe.
say this. He-
Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard that about Theodore Geisel, but
That's who I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Geisel, that's a different story. But
Yeah.
okay, Jesus.
look,
And I was like
hate,
really confused. I'm like, wait a second. No, I've never heard anything.
I hate to say
The
this,
light in the
but
attic
I have a very
dude was a Nazi.
look. I thought that it was shocking
Where the
that
swastika
one,
ends.
that they had a piece of the sofa that Hitler shot himself in the head of, and that they finally did DNA testing against it, and they found out that Hitler had Kallman's syndrome, which means he probably had a micro penis. Regardless, my one issue with Shel Silverstein, and so weirdo.
What a segue. Can we just stop? What a segue.
No. It's a good thing. Trust me. My favorite.
Wendy has this thing about micro penises.
No.
Yeah, she definitely does. Yeah.
So, my one sort of issue with Shel Silverstein is he wrote The Giving Tree.
That's real. That's real.
And that book is painful for me, and here's why.
It's painful for every. But yes, tell us why, because you're right. There was a lot on that portrait.
Okay, so people rave about how that book is so giving and so much about giving, and I read it every time, and all I can tell you is that tree gave until it had nothing left.
Right.
And it was never good enough.
She had no boundaries.
Yeah. It was very clear that tree had no fucking boundaries whatsoever. And then at the end, he's old. I just need a place to sit. And when I get to that part in the book, I burst into tears. I have to put it immediately down, and then I can't touch it for a month.
No, I mean, that's real. Yep. That's real. My favorite is, and I actually, while I think I do have a copy of that book, my favorite is The Missing Piece Meets the Big O. And I feel like he made up for, I don't know, but I love that one just because it's like, it feels like a very good sort of message. Anyway, I don't know. I appreciate The Missing Piece and The Missing Piece Meet the Big O. And they're kind of like, B-side Shel Silverstein. But like, if there is B-sides Shel Silverstein. But yeah, no, The Giving Tree is problematic as fuck. And I feel like, oh yeah, which one is that? Falling Up? Isn't that the one that was?
That's a really good book, by the way.
I feel like there's another one that
Where the
came
sidewalk
out,
ends was always my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's the one I have on my coffee table, whatever the fuck this thing is. I can't tell because I've had it since I was like a kid. It's all like gray and all used up and everything. I even practiced my signature in it back in the day with multiple pens. Just ridiculous stuff, I tell you, the kids do. But I feel like Shel Silverstein also, there was a posthumous collection that might be called something like An Everything on Top or something like that.
Everything on it. Rabbit Bunny Returns and Runny Babbitt Returns and Runny Babbitt were all published posthumously.
That's really cool. I've been doing illustrated poems privately for a really long time. I don't know but yeah, since I was a kid, so I've always like idolized him. And also Stevie Smith, who is a very different kind of poet, but I think she's an Irish poet maybe. But anyway, back in the day, but like also did like illustrated. I love it when people do poems and line drawings together. Just does something for my soul. Anyway, I digress. You're reading Kierkegaard and Nietzsche. But I'm glad to know that Shel Silverstein is not a horrific human. I or at least I'm sure that we could find dirt on him.
Well, no, I like all writers have like, I mean, hell, Walt Whitman was gay, and not that that's bad, but
that's good.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Wait,
we like
it
that.
would have just been nicer if he would have been gay back then, and nobody give a shit. But I digress.
Now you're gonna tell me Lucky was gay, you
Darn
dream
it.
killer.
Great.
Oh my God.
Or Barry
You know,
Manilow.
Or
Back
Mike
in the-
Johnson.
I'm old enough. Back in the 70s and 80s, if you called Liberace gay around certain people, they would look at you like, you don't say that unless you know it's true. And I'm like,
How can you not tell?
How could you not tell? I mean,
My
seriously.
grandmother was one of those people.
I mean, it's like you were calling Lawrence Welk gay. Or, heaven forbid,
Well, I don't
John
know about
Wayne
Lawrence
gay.
Welk, but Bobby on his show. Hmm.
You know, but then what happens? Rock Hudson comes out, and all the women are like, well, shit.
Wasn't James Dean also gay?
Well, actually,
Yes. Oh my God, usually.
Usually, I love that.
Yeah, usually. It was.
who?
Look,
James Dean.
the Hays Code fucked up years of cinema. It really did. Years and years of cinema. When you go back to like the Marlene Dietrich era of filming,
Mhm.
gay and lesbian representation was huge. And then in 1933, the Christians came to Hollywood and said, no, you can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dea Costa, who was a makeup artist, huge lesbian, had a relationship with
Oh,
Marlene
Mercedes.
Dietrich.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mercedes Dea Costa. That woman literally said, I can make any straight woman leave their husband and get into bed with me. Like that.
Confidence. That's confidence.
And that was in 1930. So, I mean, nobody gave a shit. And then
Right.
the Hays Code happened. By the way, the last Hays coded character, Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Real.
Hmm.
You know, my ex-wife told me that I reminded her of Ursula the Sea Witch, and I didn't know how to take that. It's so fucked up. But I don't know. I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to take that. I mean, she had great hair, but it's like, yeah,
She did.
as a non-binary trans person, I'm like, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about that. Are you saying I got style, or are you saying I need more therapy? Like what?
I mean, I was in the hospital. Oh, get this. I have a great trans story. Brandon, you're not gonna like this, but I have a great trans story. I was in the hospital for 2 days. By the way, for massive chest pains that were in my chin and my shoulder.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Turns out nothing. It was nothing. Turns out it was nothing. But as Aubrey.
How do you have chest pains in your chin?
You know, like radiating up from your chest up to your chin and teeth.
It's the hormones,
So-
honey. The boobs are trying to climb.
Okay, so
Hey, mine never do that.
So I'm in the hospital, and I literally, in the hospital, I sit down with the first nurse, and the nurse is like, "Can we go over your medications, sir?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And so we're going over the medications, and I'm like, and I take estradiol and spironolactone. And so, why do you take that?
Why do you think?
Because I'm going through gender transition. Okay, sir. So that was like, yeah. And then like every nurse after that, and I kept having to read, like, look, I'm not a sir, I'm not a sir, I'm not a sir. Finally, the following morning when the cardiologist comes to have a conversation, I'm dead asleep. And Aubrey, whose name is Kira, by the way, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. My spousal person talks to the cardiologist and says, "All right, look, she's a her, yada 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 yada." So then she wakes me up. She's like, "Ma'am, yeah, we're talking." Okay. She's like, "Ma'am, I just want to," and I went, "Oh, whew." Now, I would want to say the hospital that I was staying in is up in a very red area of the state. So, right. Discharged from the hospital yesterday. And like a complete dumb shit, I walk in a dress, a skirt, and a top, and these really nice boots that Onyx didn't like, but I think they're cool.
Sorry.
Anyway. Anyway, into a Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I know. Don't judge me. Because I don't pay money to eat.
What the hell are you doing going into Chick-fil-A?
I don't pay money. I don't pay money to eat at Chick-fil-A. Because I know.
What do? Go in and stick up the place?
No, I know the dev of the Chick-fil-A One app who put me on the beta program and then gives me 500,000 points.
Oh.
So I can get like a full meal in a Chick-fil-A for like $1. I've catered a meal at my house for 18 people and spent literally only $2 at Chick-fil-A to get enough food for 15 people because I get 500,000 awards points every month. So literally Chick-fil-A pays me money to eat their shit. But anyway, so, and I had just paid $600.
I'm just thinking what a splendid story that would make to throw up in their face. They're feeding the evil trans woman. And here they are, supposed to be the homophobic chicken angels, Yeah.
So anyway, so I go in there and there's some dude who like fags me once, trannies me, gives me the tranny shit or whatever. And I just looked at him, fuck you, and I walked out. So we get in the car. Well, his truck is right there, and his truck has got Jesus shit written all over it or whatever. And so,
she does.
So Kira pulls out and she's like, hey, can I be an asshole? And I'm like, I don't give a shit. And she's like, okay, stands on her horn right next to his car and then speeds off or whatever. But so yeah, in the hospital, I got misgendered, I would say 100 to 150 times in a 24-hour period. Yes, Alex.
Yeah, when I got my second mammogram, I went to Northside. You know Northside, Wendy.
I went to Northside Gwinnett. That's where I was. I hate that fucking hospital.
Yeah, so do I. I went to Northside Atlanta, and this nurse, pulled me aside into this other room, and she's like, so I need to know your birth sex. And I said, well, I'm a woman, I'm a non-binary woman. So, what do you need to know? I've had mammograms here before. She's like, no, I need to know what you were born as. And I was like, what does that have to do with giving me a mammogram? And she was like, I just need to know, sir. And then that's when I was like, bitch, if you want to call me a sir, then you already know. And she was like, okay. And that was it. But, it's stuff like that in hospital settings where, it's just like, you already know that I'm a trans woman or I'm non-binary. Why are you asking me this bullshit? Why do you have to dehumanize people? And I've been.
Okay,
I've
today
been
I learned that trans women get mammograms. You mean voluntarily go through that shit?
Well,
holy shit.
Estrogen, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I have I feel like it's everywhere. It's like I have a shitty right when I got my top surgery, there was a surgeon who was recommended to me, and the guy was like the trans guy who recommended to me was like, he has a horrible bedside manner and he will treat you like produce. And he went in there and there was like a med student in there, and he looks at them, and I'm trying to tell him all I want is I want a double mastectomy, but I want him to do nipple sparing. And he looks at this guy, does not acknowledge me at all. And all he says is, so you see, non-binary people like to keep a little on top. They like to be a little feminine. And I'm like, no, that is not what I said. And up till the point of my surgery, I was back and forth with him. Like, I want all of my chest tissue removed. He didn't remove my chest tissue. So I went through the entire surgery and he gave me a breast reduction. And he said, if you want another one, you can just get a revision.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
that.
didn't. That.
I'd sue.
Oh
Dr.
my God. Fuck
Totally
that.
quick.
Oh my God. Fuck that.
Yeah, and then when I went back, when my
Yeah.
husband and I went back, and asked like the nurse about like, you know, what happened and just kind of talked about the process, she was so shitty that she refused to give me any aftercare stuff. She's like, I don't give a shit what she didn't say I don't give a shit. She said, I don't care what you do. We're old school. You can leave here and do the YMCA. And she like ripped out my drains. Like, she was just such a bee. It was not great. It was not, but like, so like, I guess what I'm saying is, even in trans affirming care, this shit happens. And it's like, and they do it with impunity because they're like, what are you going to say?
Right.
And it's awful. So like, you can't even guarantee in going to a clinic where you're supposed to have alleged trans cultural competency that people will even treat you like a human. And there's this smugness. Like, what are you going to do about it? I hate that.
Mhm.
You know, I'm
Well,
doing FFA on
I mean,
December 11th, and I was misgendered by my surgeon.
You're getting what
Yes.
Facial
on December 11th?
Yeah. Facial feminization surgery.
and I was misgendered by my surgeon. So,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Fucking
sucks.
read the notes. Yeah, you might want to look at your fucking notes before you walk in and talk to the patient, so you at least know what to have.
Why
done.
would I be there for facial feminization surgery?
a handful of nurses looked at my medications list and called me a sir. I don't
Mhm.
get it.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
when the DoorDash
there's
dude
people who
comes
just like to be
to my
dicks.
house and I'm wearing a dress and my boobs are
Mhm.
kind of showing really well or whatever. They go, "Hey, dude, here you go, sir. Have a good day." And I'm like, "How
Ignorance.
the fuck do you look at me and say, sir?"
Willful ignorance. They don't want to.
I don't
Okay,
think-
I have to know. I mean, Brandon, when you go to the doctor, do you ever have the doctor like second guess you or anything like that on your care?
Not a doctor. No.
See, I mean, that's what women go through. You know, doctors don't listen to us. I had endometriosis for 28 years. I was diagnosed when I was 15 years old. And you know what the fucking doctor said? Well, they call that the career women's disease. It'll go away after you've had a few kids, you know.
What?
You just don't.
That
This was
is-
in 1980.
Oh my god!
This was
that's
in
fucked up.
1980. I tell people this story and they flip right the fuck out, but that is what he said.
That
My
is-
mom was just
Okay.
standing there like, yeah.
Okay. Do you know about the 70s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s era nurse training issue? So
Oh yeah. Hmm.
I have, Elaine is going to know exactly what I'm talking when I say this. So get ready for a huge shock.
Hmm.
And that's this. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, and even up into the early 80s, and I know a couple of RNs that have told me this, when RNs were educated in those times, they were educated to give less painkillers to persons of color women because they can take more pain.
They do that for black people in general.
In general, yeah.
And
Black-
so then, like on top of that, the syphilis thing they did in Alabama,
Yeah.
you wonder why
Tuskegee,
persons of color don't trust doctors? There's a
Yeah.
fucking reason for that.
There's a reason.
case where the
Hmm.
is not giving the black pregnant woman care. and she was screaming for help, sitting
Yeah.
right next to this white nurse. And this lady was like, shut the fuck. She didn't say that, but she was, she was basically telling her to shut up, And this is my sister almost died giving birth. Same type of thing, no care. It's amazing that this day and age, this still goes on.
Yep.
Bullshit. Okay.
Well,
and I mean, this was
interesting.
a very long time ago. My mom had 5 kids, and the middle one, the third one, she gave birth in a Catholic hospital. One of us that was born in a Catholic hospital, and she said she always remembered it because they tied her hands down. They strapped her hands down to the table.
Oh yeah.
And
look,
that was pretty standard back then, because they used to give women morphine and scopolamine. They called it twilight sleep. And some women would have reaction to the scopolamine and just go right out into the, and so they had them restrained in case they did. But she said it was like, they treated her like an animal.
Right. I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but Mother Teresa was a fucking monster.
She was a racist.
I have heard that.
Yeah, I've heard some terrible things about her.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're right at an hour.
Well,
so Lisa, Brandon, Weirdo, will you come back onto the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
Once you're here, it's hard to escape.
Well, I have enjoyed my time on the show, on the conversation, really. So yeah.
Oh, well, cool. So if you want a copy of the show, send me a note.
Sure.
Because people like to repost the shows. And because I'm using a multi-streaming service for my shows.
What are you using?
Just shoot me a message and
Okay.
I'll send you a link and you can post it at will or whatever. That's fine. Brandon, I was going to ask, so I'm traveling on Thursday, but Friday, if I have time, would you be open for a trauma live session?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. It's either Thursday or Friday. Weirdo, thank you.
Yeah.
Thursday is TDOR. I don't know if we want to do it then. That's a lot of trauma.
I don't know. We'll see. Brandon, we'll talk to the channel about it. We'll talk to the channel about it. For everybody else, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating in the show. I love you all. Be safe out there. Do good things. And we will talk tomorrow.
Peace
Elaine,
and cheers.
Yep.
Good
Peace,
night.
everybody.